Soldiers witnessed the innovation of Army researchers recently during a series of tests flying 3D printed unmanned aircraft systems that were created on demand for specific missions. The U.S. Army Training and Doctrine Command invited engineers from the Army Research Laboratory to Fort Benning, Georgia, to present a technology demonstration at the Army Expeditionary Warrior Experiments, or AEWE.
We've created a process for converting soldier mission needs into a 3D printed, on-demand, small unmanned aircraft system, or Odysseus as we've been calling it.
With this concept, once a patrol requires UAV support, soldiers input all their requirements into the mission planning software. The system then knows the optimal configuration for the aerial vehicle, and it's printed and delivered within 24 hours.
We thought they're not going to think that's fast enough, but actually it was the opposite. They said this is actually good because when we get our mission plan, we have about 24 to 48 hours to plan our mission. So the timeline of 24 hours to receive a mission custom UAS fits right in line with the way we plan and execute our missions.
Researchers said they felt the combination of 3D printing and UAVs was a natural technology solution.
Drones or quadcopters are really getting big now. I mean, in particular, just the commercial and hobby markets have shown what can be done for a very small amount of money. Simultaneously, additive manufacturing or 3D printing has also become huge, and everybody knows all of the great things that can be done with 3D printers. And so we figured let's assemble these two new technologies and provide a solution to soldiers that need something right now and don't want to wait for it.
We spent so much time with flight testing and verifying the designs and making sure everything was going to work the way we expected. And it was good that we didn't have any mistakes on game day. The day before, we went out and did some test flights and worked out some kinks. I think they had the quad up to 55 miles an hour.
Spiro said based on feedback from Army leaders, his team hopes to work on low noise, long standoff distance, heavier payload capacity, and better agility.
I'm very optimistic that most of those are achievable. I think the hardest one that's going to be achievable is the heavy payload.
The Army engineers are collaborating with the Georgia Tech's Aerospace Systems Design Lab as they continue to refine technologies for future soldiers. For ARL TV, I'm David McNally.
Oh, it's noisy. That's it.
On the Flashforge Dreamer, and a new quad is being born. And the quad's going to be a lot smaller than I thought. There's the quad. Alright, looking good. I'll come back in a few hours. And I'm printing my first 3D printable quadcopter. The motor wires go down these channels, so you put the zip tie through here, as you can see, and just keep feeding it, and now it's wrapped around this little notch out. Here's the final quad, and now a throttle. powerful. The first flight. It's powerful.
I know.
Wow.
Straight too. Okay. Have you got me in the shot?
Yep. Oh no, you don't shot anymore.
Really?
Alright, give us a count.
3, 2, 1, go. Three, 2, 1, go. Yep, I've lost you.
Okay, go.
Bill just goes up.
And punch it!
Nice. That's good. Killed the motors. So that's my transmitter. And this is my 3D printed quad. And I've nicknamed it the Hulk.
Alright guys, it is a spectacularly gorgeous day here in the end times in Sebastopol, California, Saturday afternoon, August 8, 2015. This is your old doomsday barbecuer. Getting my coals going and just killing time waiting for the doomsday coals to get finished. And I might as well just share the headlines with my fellow tribes members. You know, when you're lacking a rant, all you have to do is go on the mainstream media, and I just thought today's crop of mainstream media news stories, anybody who does not believe we are in the end times, this was my reigning favorite. This headline I don't think could have existed on planet Earth except possibly in a Vonnegut novel 5 years ago. I love this one. Take it away. 3D printed spy drones could be built at sea. A 3D printed drone was recently launched from a British warship and successfully flew in a demonstration that could pave the way for futuristic spy drones that can be printed at sea. There you go. Smoke them if you got them. Is it me, guys? I'm 55. I'm a 55-year-old Luddite. I don't know. I'm a 55-year-old Luddite, doomsday prophet. I am a little nervous about 3D printed spy drones coming to your backyard from an ocean warship near you. And I've just picked out a few, and a lot of these could pretty much be my climate meltdown roundup rant. I'll just give you a Saturday version included here. Here is Hong Kong swelters on its hottest day in history. Hong Kong on Saturday recorded its hottest day since authorities began taking temperature readings 100 30 years ago due to the influence of a nearby typhoon, showing up about 97.5 degrees. Hell, it's getting close to that right here in Sebastopol. How about this one from the Christian Science Monitor? Vladimir Putin tries to claim the North Pole. Can he do that? Well, we will see whether Mr. Putin can do that or not. Russia, led by Presidente Vladimir Putin, has petitioned the United Nations for exclusive control over 463,000 square miles of the Arctic Ocean, including the North Pole. Okay? Why is Russia so interested in owning large tracts of icy water? Well, this is what the Stratfor Global Intelligence Report has to say to answer that question. Quote, melting ice has opened up new transit routes and revealed previously inaccessible oil and mineral deposits. Wow. If the ice continues to melt, as it will, the fossil fuels will become increasingly accessible and valuable. And Stratfor also suspects, quote, militarizing the Arctic will be a key imperative for the Russian military throughout 2015 and beyond. Can you say oil wars? Oil wars. As fossil fuels melt the Arctic Ocean, the oil wars are brewing. And all of this crap about Russia, this little spat between U.S. and Russia, I guess there was some other Russian oil field that is now in the sanctions or something. Anyway, as long as we're up at kind of north on the planet, barge brings tons of ocean debris to Seattle. There you go. Hundreds of tons of marine debris have been collected from the shores of Alaska and British Columbia as part of an unprecedented cleanup effort that an organizer says barely made a dent in the rubbish that remains on northern beaches. There you go. From Alaska to Spain, 3,000 evacuated as wildfires burn for third day in Spain. I hear it is a red flag wildfire day as I'm cranking up the barbecue grill and the wind picking up in the hot sun on a red flag wildfire day right here in the Bay Area. Okay, well, there is some good news from the drought. Hallelujah. Drought causes Panama Canal to reduce cargo size. So this is about these giant container ships from China. The Panama Canal will have to temporarily limit the cargo size of these giant ships using the waterway due to a drought caused by the El Nino weather phenomenon. But don't worry, I guess that new canal in Nicaragua being built by the Chinese will take care of that. Here's one. Let's go from Panama to Germany. Germany tries to stem the tide of asylum seekers. One more peek into the end times. Germany overwhelmed by people fleeing war and poverty, is trying to deter asylum seekers from the Balkans. Good luck on that. From there, oh yes, but with all of this bad news, guys, there is some good news right here on Reuters. Japan's nuclear regulator says no repeat of Fukushima under new safety rules. Japan's nuclear regulator said an accident on the scale of the 2011 Fukushima disaster would not occur under new safety rules in Japan. Okay, this is a quote from Japan's nuclear regulatory authority. Quote, "We will make completely sure that the reactor is operating as it should. A disaster like that at Fukushima will not occur."
Bullshit detected. Take precautions.
And so then he kind of backs off a little bit later on in the article. Okay, there is no such thing as absolute safety, he said, but quickly added that any accident that did occur, quote, would be contained before it reached a scale anywhere near what happened at Fukushima.
Bullshit level, DEFCON 5.
Okay, from that unadulterated horseshit over there in Japan, how about this one for an End Times headline not too far from me? California child diagnosed with plague after trip to Yosemite National Park. There you go. So we got one plague victim there. I guess a couple of people have died of plague in Colorado. And next to this is some story about somebody found dead in Yellowstone National Park. They don't know what that. They don't want to know whether that's plague or taking a selfie with a bison. Anyway, I was talking a minute ago. This is one for the conspiracy wackos, and you know, all of this bad press that Russia's getting as Barack Obama and Putin getting this little pissing match. So we have this one: Pentagon email hack blamed on Russian government. Okay, I don't know whether to hit the bullshit button or not on that one. Was there a Pentagon email hack? Did it come from the Russian government? Is this just a bullshit story to stir up anti-Russian sentiment? I don't know. About 50% of me wants to hit the bullshit detector button. But this could easily be a prime case of disinformation. I don't know. Anyway, oh yes, this story. I probably should have led off with this. I'm sure you've heard about this one by now. I can't believe I haven't already done a rant. While I was camping out at the beach, I guess what was going on up there in Colorado, near where I just left, not too far from Paonia, our esteemed Environmental Protection Agency was helping to clean up some old gold mine that had been abandoned in 1923. So for 92 years, it had been sitting up there, just waiting for an earthquake. Well, guess what came along? An earthquake called the EPA. So the Environmental Protection Agency went to clean up this abandoned gold mine after 92 years. And what did they do? they bungled the cleanup operation and let approximately 1 million gallons of toxic sludge into the river that feeds a bunch of towns, including, I believe, Durango, Colorado, and that now it's already into New Mexico. It's on the way to Utah. Your tax dollars at work, but don't worry, as of today the news is, well, no word yet. EPA has no word yet on health risk from Colorado mine spill.
Oh, come on now, that ain't even bullshit. That's horseshit.
No word. Well, 3 words, boil your water. So how is Associated Press spinning this story? The mustard-colored muck that spilled into a river from a shuttered California gold mine contains heavy metals including lead and arsenic, but it is too early to know whether they pose a health risk, federal environmental officials said.
Warning, bullshit alert.
Yep, no health hazard has been detected in the 1 million gallons of, what do we say, lead, arsenic, cadmium, aluminum, copper, and calcium, the 1 million gallons of mustard-colored muck. Nothing to worry about. Go back to sleep. Alright. What's going on over there in Taiwan today? Alright. This is I guess that big old typhoon slams into Taiwan. 6 dead. Millions without power today as Mother Nature calling in her karma. Let's go from Taiwan to the Faroe Islands. Faroe court convicts 5 anti-whaling activists. What a surprise. A Faroe Islands court on Friday found 5 activists from the militant conservation group Sea Shepherd Society. Hallelujah to that militant conservation group, Sea Shepherds, guilty of disrupting the region's traditional whale hunt.
That was bullshit.
The traditional whale hunt. Yeah. It's probably those traditional harpoons and Uzis and everything else. Oh, this is, we looked in at the migrants on the German border. Now let's go to the Serbia-Hungary border, where we see time running out for migrants on the Serbia-Hungary border. Time running out. That sounds kind of like end times for migrants on the Serbia-Hungary border. And then over there in West Africa, just when you thought it was safe to eat the bushmeat again, we find thousands of Ebola survivors still face severe pain and possible blindness. Jesus. And who knows? There you go. And just real quickly going down the others. You heard about, I did have a laugh about that little maggot over there in North Korea setting back the time for North Korea 30 minutes different. out of the time zone. So now, while every other time zone on the planet, every other country on the planet is on one of 24 hours, North Korea is on a half hour. But actually, that's the way it used to be, and they just... here is funeral home owner pleading not guilty to corpse abuse. Jesus, here's about police car chases. I literally had no joke, had a friend of mine, her father was killed by a speeding police car going to a donut shop, and that is no joke. There you go. I love this. The old Donald Trump ones. I'm not, I'm being good about the Donald Trump jokes. More North Korea. There's just too much here. Here's the Hatfields and McCoys still going at it. All right. All right, so we're getting our doomsday flowers planted. Here is Berlin spending billions of dollars upgrading their military hardware. Yep. It just goes on. It just keeps on going. Here's migrant shipwreck survivors grieve their children swept from their arms. Their children slipped out of their grasp as the boat overturned and were lost to the waves. Yep. There you go. That's one population control. Here's cop pulls gun on man filming him with cell phone. I bet. No comment on the newest Hillary Clinton joke. I need to move on before I get sidetracked. Here is get married or go to jail. Here is the newest smartphone. Over 2 million people. Over 2 million people have already reserved the OnePlus 2 smartphone before it ever gets launched. Meanwhile, Apple Watches now for sale on Best Buy. Yep. I think with that, no, I'm not going to go to the missing airplane. Can't deal with missing airplanes today. But I will close with this. We had 2 million people with the smartphones, 27 million people putting on Windows 10. I will not be putting Windows 10 on my new computer. I'm sticking with Windows 7, which has enough spyware on it. But I guess this new Windows 10, it's like having your very own little 3D printed spy drone inside your computer. Every time you fart, Windows 10 will record it and send it to the fart police. And I'm sticking with Windows 7, which is bad enough. But anyway, I'm getting the signals. It's time to wrap it up, get the chicken on, and the margaritas poured. So I'm going to wrap up the doomsday headlines because my friends are tired of hearing them, and get back to cranking up the barbecue on the Red Flag Wildfire Day, looking up into the smoky haze of the Rocky Fire. But it's a beautiful day on this deck. Bye, guys.